We're doing this one holding the mic. Hello everyone, my name is Eostrix. Welcome back if you've been here, and if you haven't, now you have. Welcome as well. Today I'm introducing my most slapped together deck, Saga Stompin. That is as creative as I could get with it. This deck is helmed by none other than the mythical man himself, Bombadil. Tom is a 4/4 legendary creature god bard for Wooburg that states this giant block of text. As long as there are 4 or more lore counters among sagas you control, Bombadil has hexproof and indestructible. Whenever the final ability of a saga you control resolves, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a saga card. Put that card onto the battlefield and the rest onto the bottom of your library in a random order. This ability triggers only once each turn. If you couldn't tell by the title or commander, this deck is a saga deck. So, for the uninformed, sagas are enchantments that usually have 1 to 4 abilities that activate over time. 1/1 ETBs, it gets a counter and thus activates the first ability. Now a saga can either get another counter by upkeep ability, or if you add one manually via proliferate, Satsuki, etc., it also activates the ability. Usually the last ability is the strongest, but if you want to get value, you have 2 options with the deck. Either let them get sacrificed for Tom's ability, or flicker the saga before the end and restart at ability 1. And now, for the deck. The first of several categories, arguably the most important, removal. Binding the Old Gods, destroys a non-land permanent, ramp, and some death touch, score. Elspeth Conquers deck, better than destroy, exile, little bit of lockdown and recursion. Elspeth's Nightmare, destroy this card and exile a graveyard. Hidetsugu, consumes all, and Vessel of the All-Consuming, a surprisingly good card, a hidden win con. The Cruelty of Gix, target discard, search and steal with the ability to skip to the end. The Elder Dragon War, possible board wipe, wheel and maybe a token with the ability to skip ahead. The Eldest Reborn, one of my favorite sagas, removal, discarding, and stealing. The Horus Heresy, steal, draw probably 3 cards, and a group hug destroy. The Kami War / Okagachi Made Manifest, another of my favorite sagas, exile, discard, and then get a 6/6 that buffs itself. And Time of Ice, this is just a control card that returns at least 2 creatures. Second, and I'd say the most interesting and ironic placement, I'll take a second. Brago, King Eternal. When we hit a player, we blink/flicker every saga just to get the value. Dance of the Demands not only does it return the enchantments, but it makes them into creatures that you can attack with. Blazer Kitten, play a saga, bounce a saga, repeat. Every Ultimatum returns basically everything from your graveyard, not just enchantments. Extravagant Replication, I think this is skipped over, so you just copy whatever saga is on the field and you get more value or any other non-land permanent that you control. Again, Arcanum Weaver, I love this card, cycle cheap enchantments for expensive ones. Jinkataxis / The Great Synthesis, very stupid and not even out yet. Draw a card for every CMC3 spell that you play. For 4 mana, flip it, draw X, no max hand size, clear the board of non-fire Xanes, and cast any number of cards from your hand for free. Holy shit. Kaya's Ghost Form, protect Tom before he protects himself. Lithoform Engine, copy an ability for 2, instant sorcery for 3, or a permanent spell for 4, which I never read until I just saw that. Paradox Haze gives us a second upkeep, which gives us another counter. Sphinx of the Second Sun repeats your beginning phase, giving more mana, more cards, and of course more counters. Stronic Resonator, it's Lithoform Engine, but cheaper. Teleportation Circle, bounce a creature on your end step, which can reset Tom's bottom ability. And Weaver of Harmonies, Stronic Resonator, but cheaper and make it green and only for enchantments. Thirdly, we got the most basic but the most favorite, card draw. Eidolon of Blossoms, enchantment ETB card draw. Joya, Weatherlight Captain, cast a Historic, which is legendary saga or artifacts, and draw a card. Showdown of the Skalds, impulse draw and buff 1 creature. Sisay, Weatherlight Captain, search for a legendary creature, which may get replaced. Sithis, Harvest Hand, the best enchantress card IMO. Tayam, Luminous Enigma, removes counter from sagas, mills a bit, and nets us a permanent of 3 or less. The first Ironian Games, token, buff, draw, and mana. Hell of a deal. The World Spell, a saga that looks for non-sagas and puts up to 2 of them onto the field for free. And Well of Ideas, good with our upkeep theme, and it makes people happier. Fourthly, not the kind of thing you're expecting, but countered. Aether Snap, board wipe tokens and counters. Clock Spinning, increase or decrease counters with leftover mana. Cosmic Intervention, knock out a bunch of sagas and return them to the battlefield. Glissa Sunslayer, versatile and it removes counters. Propaganda, pay 2 for every attacker, maybe 1 or 2 creatures coming through at best. Resurgent Belief, for 2 and wait 2 turns, return all enchantment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Spear of Safety, Propaganda, but pay X, where X is the enchantments we control per creature. And Sterling Grove, shroud our sagas in dire situations and early game, then search for one later. Fifthly, we want to speed up the process sometimes, so we have adding. All will be 1, add a counter, deal damage. Track Separator's Voice, I own one and I refuse to make a Super Friends deck with it. Flux Channeler, play a saga, proliferate. Satsuki, Living Lore, another commander made for sagas, essentially proliferate sagas. Story Weave, add 2 to a saga, or 2 +1/+1s. and Tekuthal Inquiry Dominus. If you would proliferate, do it again. 6th, we have a backup strategy for every deck, tokens. Battle for Predicard, token, double all tokens. Birth of Imperium, token, force sack, maybe some card draw. Fable of the Mirror Breaker / Reflection of Kiki Jiki. Honestly, it's broken. Token, draw, and copy a creature for 1 for a turn. History of Benalia, just makes knights to be honest. The Raven's Warning, token, draw, and return something from exile. And Stir Eternal Schemer, turns enchantments into 2 strong of creatures, good for blockers. And 7th, we have our necessity once again, mana. Zeus's Many Journeys / Likeness of the Seeker. Ramp, life, in a creature that untaps lands. Ugan Defends the Temple / Remnant of the Rising Star. Minidork, 2+1/+1s, and a possible 7/7. Omniscience, if you get to 10 mana, you just win. It's pretty easy. Sanctum Weaver, add X mana where X is the enchantments. The Weather Seed Treaty, ramp, token, buff. Utopia Sprawl, tap the land, add 1 of any color in addition. And Wayfarer's Bauble, classic ramp. Now for the most skipped over part of any deck tech, the lands. Blood Crypt, Breeding Pool, Cascading Cataracts, Command Tower, Deathcap Glade, Deserted Beach, Dreamrope Cascade, Exotic Orchard, Jetmir's Garden, Nesting Grounds, Overgrown Farmland, Overgrown Tomb, Plaza of Heroes, Raffine's Tower, Reflecting Pool, Shattered Sanctum, Shipwreck Marsh, Spar's Headquarters, Stormcard Coast, 5 forests, 5 islands, 3 swamps, 2 mountains, and 5 plains. If you've made it here, thank you for watching this far, and consider subscribing below. I love enchantment decks, and I'm looking forward to testing this deck out soon. While I'm not a huge Lord of the Rings fan, I'm interested in the set so far. I'll see you again next time. Goodbye.